Seva Kunja Vijay Ramya Guvardhana Giru Sada Radha Kunja Rasananda Tattva Seva Padaya Guru Narayana Kyamtam Vande Vinoda Prishkagam Yathara Sukhimam Tavodara Manchagalabhadru Vyasta Kripasundhu Deva Chapatikanam Pavadhu Vaishnavisya Namo Mahavaranya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Dhorat Krishna He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandha Janatpate Gopesha Vika Ganta Radha Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Adhike Bhaktya Mihina Parana Lakshay Kshiptasya Kamanita Madhya Kripa Mahitvam Saranam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanaravinam Bhajami Radham Aravinda Netram Smarami Radham Madhurastasam Vadami Radham Karuna Avaratram Tato Yasti Katirtha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasti Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, my sister Pranam thousand times for Shri Maharaj, Temple Pal, Bandhav, Vishnu Pal, Shri Bhakti Maharaj, and Maharaj. Secondly, my sister Pranam thousand times for Shri Krishna Gauri Guru Bhagavat. My sister Pranam thousand for Vaishnava. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavat Gita, chapter 9, sloka 23. Continuing with Sri Gurudev's Prakashika Vritti. The verse in question is, Yerpi anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayamrita tepi mam eva kaunteya yajant abidhi purvakam. O Kaunteya, those who worship other devatas with faith actually worship me alone, but in a way that is unauthorized. The essence of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on this sloka is that by pouring water on the root of a tree, its branches and sub-branches become nourished. But the same result is not achieved by pouring water on its leaves, branches, fruits and flowers. Somebody may say there is no harm in giving water to the branches as well as to the root of a tree. Rather, there is some benefit. Therefore, if one worships the devatas along with worshipping Sri Krishna, then what is the harm? In response to this, another example is given. The live air is sustained by supplying food to the stomach. Thus all the body organs and senses become nourished. However, if one gives food separately to the ears, eyes and nose, then one will become deaf and blind, and ultimately one will die. In the same way, one, by worshipping the various devatas, considering them independent gods, one will only attain adverse results. The authorized process, therefore, is to exclusively worship Sri Bhagavan. If you have some nice chili sabji, put in your mouth, you go to your stomach, it is cooling you. Actually, you fight fire with fire. If your body is hot and you eat chili, it will cool you, not make you hot. It's a rule. That's why chili only growing in countries where warm climate, growing there where in Russia, in Finland, and in Siberia, and Iceland, and find chili in warm climates. Bhagavan has arranged naturally for different foodstuffs for different people. Chili actually, if you are very hot and you eat it, actually is cooling. So, but imagine you take that chili, you put it in your ear, you put it in your eye. And never, anyone experience chili in the eye, they understand the bliss that is there. Very nice feeling. Feels like you have some stone inside there, it cannot come out. It takes a long time. So, similarly, you think here the argument is, first, Vaishnavas are giving argument, you put water on the root of the tree, then the whole branches, leaves, flowers, fruit, everything is nourished. So then they are giving counter argument, okay, but I'm going to put water on the root of the tree and the leaves and branches. Sometimes, leaves, dust is there, dirty. You washing whole tree, then it looks very nice. So, some benefit is there. If I'm washing tree or putting root also. But then they're giving counter argument. Vaishnava is saying no. I give you another example. You put food in the mouth, it goes to the stomach and whole body, all your senses nourished. But you try to take the same food and nourish all the senses separately, you will end up with just harming yourself. You cannot put food in the eye and ears. It doesn't work. Only in the mouth. Then you will see the nourishment. That is digested. Similarly, you think that you will worship Bhagavan along with all the devatas. This will also be adverse to us. The devatas will be unhappy. Bhagavan will not be pleased also. Why ultimately the demigods, they are all servants of Bhagavan himself. And the jiva, if he takes his exclusive devotion, offers to the devatas, then he is misusing his devotion. Just like if you have devotion for mundane things. You are attached to your country, your family, your car, your watch. When you lose those things, you suffer so much. So similarly, if you worship the demigods, ultimately you will only get temporary relief, temporary some benefit. And in the end, ultimately you will suffer. Happiness will not be there. The demigods, they cannot save you from real problems. Old age, disease, death, none of these things. Ultimately you have to die, you have to give up everything. Moreover, Buddha is continuing, Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto says, Sarva eva yajanti tvam sarva deva mayeshwaram. Yepi anya devata bhakta yati apti anya diya prabho. Yatadri prabhavan adya parjanya purita prabho. Vishanti sarvada sindhum tadvat tvam gatayo antaha. When reading these slokas, most people will understand them to mean, just as rivers flowing from the mountains become filled with rainwater, divide into various branches and enter the ocean from various directions, in the same way the worship performed by those on various paths ultimately culminates in worship of Sri Bhagavan alone. Subsequently, by worshipping other devas, one will also receive the result of worshipping Sri Krishna. So they're saying the rivers are flowing from the mountains. They go into so many different main rivers, sub-rivers, like this. Ultimately all the water will come back to the ocean. So ultimately by worshipping the different demigods, it doesn't matter which way you worship Bhagavan, any way you worship, Bhagavan will accept that worship. This is their logic. Now by Vishnu Thakur is logic. Buddha is quoting Vishnu Thakur. However, this understanding is not correct. The essence of Srila Vishwanath Thakur's commentary on the Bhakti slokas is as follows. Karmis, yogis and others actually worship me only because I alone am the embodiment of all the devas and the supreme controller of all controllers. A person who thinks I am worshipping Shiva, I am worshipping Surya, I am worshipping Ganesh, consider himself to be devoted to them, actually only worship me. However, it is said that in this way they worship me alone, and as a result will surely attain me. It is not so. So if you think that I am worshipping these different demigods, and because these demigods are manifestations of Bhagavan, I am actually worshipping Bhagavan. This is not true. Just because you are worshipping Bhagavan, those things which have come from Bhagavan is not the equal as worshipping Bhagavan directly himself. Not the same. The difference by worshipping his creations and the demigods and other jivas and worshipping Bhagavan is a big difference. They have all come from Bhagavan, but they are not equal to Bhagavan. Therefore, how can worshipping them be the same as worshipping Bhagavan? It is never the same. So here, it is said that the worship performed by them certainly comes to me, but the worshippers do not. The rivers flowing from the mountains become full of rainwater. The clouds pour forth water all over the mountains, and eventually this water takes the form of rivers. All the rivers flowing their independent courses through different places finally enter the ocean. The rivers come from the mountains into the ocean, but their source, the mountain, does not. In the same way, worship performed by persons practicing various processes comes to me only. However, their source, the worshipper, does not. So it's true that all the water comes to the ocean, but this water is like the worship, the aradhana. But the source of the water, that is the mountain never comes to the ocean. So someone might worship demigods, ultimately that worship will go to Bhagavan. Indirectly, it will go to Bhagavan. But if you worship Bhagavan indirectly, you will not go to Bhagavan. Only by directly worshipping Bhagavan you can go to Bhagavan. By indirectly worshipping his creation, worshipping the demigods, this will not satisfactory. Ultimately, the worshipper of the demigods, they go to the planet of the demigods. Deva yanti deva. So that yanti deva vrta deva prithvi yanti prithivata bhutani yanti bhuteja madhyajana yanti ma. Those who worship the demigods go to the planet of the demigods. Those who worship the ghosts, forefathers, they go to the planet of the forefathers. Those who worship ghosts, they go to the ghosts like this. Those who worship me come to me. This verse, I think is coming now or later. Here, now soon will come. Here, and there are also many other places also in Gita where this is being said. I just don't remember the verse that is mentioned. Here, Sri Bhagavan is compared to the ocean, the Vedas to the clouds, the various types of processes of worship, the water, the worshippers to the mountain, and the various devatas to the different places. Just as rivers pass through various lands and enter the ocean, the worship of various devatas come to Sri Vishnu. And just as the mountain does not reach the ocean, the worship of the devas does not reach Vishnu. So the rain is coming from the clouds. That rain, the rivers, they consist of this rain. That is what the worship. The Vedas, they are teaching us how to worship. And the cloud is showering water on the mountain. That is the worshipper. The Vedas are giving us all these teachings. And we take those teachings and we practice in our life and we worship. And this forms like a river, like a current. We will begin to worship. Current of worship comes from our heart. The different places where the river goes, that is like the demigods. Your devotion must go here, there, everywhere. But ultimately the worship must go end up one place, it must come to the ocean. But how is it possible that the worshipper himself will enter the ocean? How will the mountain come to the ocean? It's not possible by worshipping so many different devatas. The only way the mountain can enter into the ocean is by mercy. Hanuman will pick up the mountain, he will go and he'll place it there at the lotus of the ground. You can see, example is there. Hanuman always here Lakshman and Hanuman, Lakshman and Ram. Lakshman was shot by the Shakti. He went to this name of the mountain. He picked up this mountain because all the medicinal herbs were there on the mountain. He couldn't recognize which herb was the right one because the physician that time working in Lanka for Ravan, he was brought there. Sushen Vaidya. Sushen Vaidya said you'll recognize the herb by its glow. But when Hanuman went there, he saw that all the herbs were glowing. So what did they do? He picked up the whole mountain, he came and he placed it there close to the ground. Before the mountains, they had wings. But then what happened? The mountains would fly in the sky, they would land, and they would crush a village. So many people would die. So all the people on Prithvi level began praying to Indra. Please save us. The Indra came with his thunderbolt, but he cut the wings of all these mountains. And then they came, Achal, fixed. So it's actually only by Kripa, by mercy, that you can actually attain Bhagavan. You may worship even Bhagavan one-pointedly. Unless Bhagavan decides to give you Kripa, you cannot achieve him. But in this example, we see that ultimately the worship, even those who worship all the demigods, that worship ultimately it goes to Bhagavan. Bhagavan receives that worship. He is ultimately Paramatma residing in one's heart. He is ultimately the source of all the demigods. You worshiping the demigods, but who are the demigods worshipping? They are worshipping Bhagavan. If the demigods are not worshipped, they will not get any strength. They will become weak. When people offer oblations, the demigods, they get some benefit of the yajna, they get shakti. So, ultimately that yajna is true, that Bhagavad yajna is also Vishnu. That is, so, this worship is coming from the Vedas. It's coming from Bhagavan and it comes back to Bhagavan. Like the water, how does the rain cloud form? It evaporates from the ocean, right? It forms a cloud, then the cloud goes and it rains, and the water comes back to the ocean. The cycle. So Bhagavan produced the Vedas teach the Jivas how to worship. The Jivas worship, and that worship comes back to Bhagavan, and this is how the cycle continues. Ocean water evaporates to form rain clouds over the mountains. Upon falling, that same water gathers as a river and passes to different lands. It is known by different names and finally reaches the ocean. In the same way, the different types of worship as described in the Shrutis originally came from Bhagavan Shri Krishna. They are performed by various qualified persons to different devas, and they are known by the names of those various types of worship. Their worship finally comes to Shri Vishnu through the medium of the devas. Through his worship, a person only attains his worshipful deva, a temporary position. He does not attain eternal seva in the eternal Dham as Shri Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur told Krishna as saying, in reality, I, the embodiment of Satchidananda, am the only Parameshwar, Supreme Controller. There is no deva independent of me. It's like you are a tax collector, tax officer. You're collecting funds. You're administering, collecting funds on the behalf of the government. Those funds ultimately you have to return to the government. You try to keep those funds separately, then what will happen? The government will punish you. The devas, they accept worship, but in reality they have to offer all that worship to Bhagavan himself. There is no deva independent of me. In my own Swarup, I am the transcendental Satchidananda reality, eternally beyond the material creation. Many persons worship devas such as Surya. In other words, conditioned human beings in the material world give honor to the majestic feature of Maya Shakti in the form of various devatas. We worship them. But by proper deliberation, it can be understood that my vibhutis, the devas, are simply my guna avatars. Vibhuti means opulence. Devas are like Krishna's opulence. He has manifested them. He has given some power and then and they are administrating. They are not independent from Bhagavan. Those who worship these devas, knowing their actual position and the reality of my Swarup, consider them to be my guna avatars. In this way, their worship is authorized and approved of as the progressive path. For those who worship the devas, thinking them to be eternal and independent of me, worship in an unauthorized way, which does not follow the prescribed rules, and so they do not achieve eternal results. So it's one thing if you worship the demigods for material things, then that is authorized. You can worship Ganesh, Surya, Durga, Shiva, Chandrama, all these different demigods for material results. In the Bhagavatam there is different, in one shloka that describes, you worship which demigod, which benefit you get. If you want youth, you worship one demigod. You want beauty, you worship one demigod. You want sons, you worship one demigod. You want land, you worship one demigod. You want to be victorious in conquering everybody, you worship one demigod. It's described there. So if you want these things, then you are allowed to do so, and you get material results, and that's it. It's temporary and that is authorized. But even though it is authorized, it doesn't mean that it's going to give you happiness. It's just a material fruit, it will lead to suffering also. So people who have material desires, but instead of enjoying independently from the Vedas, they worship the demigods through Vedas, through Karma Kanda, and they attain a higher type of worship. In other words, they are more intelligent. than gross atheistic materialist. An atheistic materialist, his happiness is only limited to this world, whereas those who follow karmakanda, they attain happiness beyond this world. But if you want, so that is authorized in that sense, that you want bhoga, you want mukti, you can worship this demigods. But even demigods will not give mukti, they can only give you some advice how to achieve it. They cannot give it. But, so that is okay for those who want this. But those who worship the demigods, thinking them separate from Bhagavan, independent, like Shiv Purana, who we mentioned, one name of Lord Shiva is Ishvara. But we know that Ishvara means the supreme controller. Ultimately, the supreme controller is who is Bhagavan. Shiva is the controller, he is Deva, but he is not Deva any Deva. He is Mahadev, great Devata, Mahadev. But Devari Deva, Gaurachandra, Gauridas Mandira. Nityananda, Sankhya Gaura, Ambikate, Vikhara. Devari Deva, the source of all demigods. To be Sarveshwareshwara, Prajandananda. Ishwar, all Ishwars is who? Sarveshwareshwara is who? Prajandananda, Nandananda. Krishna. He is the master of all demigods. Those who worship Shiva may be Ishwar, but Krishna is Parameshwar. He is the topmost supreme controller. So, those who worship demigods with this faulty mentality that the demigods are actually the Lord of all lords, independent, then they cannot get an eternal result. Just because you will something doesn't mean it will happen. Like Arupsita Bhakti. Just because you do something doesn't mean it's Bhakti. If you're thinking it's Bhakti. I'm cleaning temple, I'm going market, buying things. You're doing so many activities, you think I'm doing Bhakti. Just because you think it is Bhakti doesn't mean it's necessarily Bhakti. For something to be Bhakti, it has to fit specific parameters. It's described by Rupa Goswami. Anya Abhilash Shunyam Jnana Karmadhyana Anupulena Anushilan Bhakti. If whatever you're doing fits this definition, then it's Bhakti. Otherwise it's not. Then, but because you may be thinking it's Bhakti, then it's some type of Bhakti. It's what this term. Arupsita Bhakti. It may be considered Sanghasita Bhakti. It may be considered Sarupsita Bhakti. Satvik Sarupsita Bhakti, Tamasic, Rajasic, like this. But if you want to do Nirgun Bhakti, then you have to have Nirgun Mood. Therefore, we may be doing so many sevas throughout the day. But if we're not doing it with a mood that is ultimately for the ultimate happiness of Krishna, ultimate happiness of Guru and Vaishnava, we are completely free from any other motives. We're simply doing it for them. As described in this verse, then it will not be Bhakti. If we have some hidden motives, hidden desires, then it will be like sadhana abhas, a reflection of real sadhana. The difference between sadhana bhakti and sadhana abhas. Before some manda gyan becomes mature, and before we become free from our aparadhas, then we are most likely doing sadhana abhas. Bhakti Abhas. It looks like the real thing, but it's not fully there yet. Due to some obstacles, due to some anartha that is there in the heart. And to overcome that anartha, to overcome that obstacle, we need some time. So, one should not become disheartened, one should not become complacent or hopeless. If one becomes hopeless, then there is little hope. We should not become hopeless. We should rather become Utsaha Nishtaya Dharya Tat Tat Karma Pravartana Sangha Tyaga Sato Vritta Satyat Bhakti Siddhyati. Rupa Goswami describes in which way you should do your devotion in this verse. What is the mood, how you should do your devotion at all times. Whether you have overcome anarthas or not, this is the mood you have to do in the perfected state and also in the conditioned state. Utsaha, there must be enthusiasm. Otherwise you should be happily doing your devotion. With the desire to be there to do it. Not just in the sense of a duty. Have some utsaha. You look forward to your seva. Why? Why do you look forward to your seva? Because you know the seva is pleasing to Guru, Vaishnava. It's going to pleasing to Bhagavan. Krishna himself is directly going to accept these results. You are directly making a relationship with Bhagavan. You are directly making a relationship with Guru Vaishnava. Then why would you not look forward to that? And Nishchaya, have Nishtha, firm faith in the process, firm faith in what you are doing. Yes, by doing this seva, by doing this bhakti, I will achieve my desired goal. Guru Vaishnava will be happy, Krishna will be happy. My relationship will develop with them. Very soon, I will enter into the inner circle of Bhagavan and his associates. And Dharya, fortitude, patience. Even though there is some delay in attaining the desired goal, I am not becoming hopeless. I am not becoming restless. It's like if you want to walk from here to Bombay, is it possible you can walk in one day? Even though you desire, no, I will desire now. It's simply not possible. You know, physically, it's thousands of kilometers away. The problem is that we become restless because we think we can achieve something immediately. That is the reality. If someone has a lot of money, when he becomes restless, he spends the money quickly. Even at a higher price to get something. He wants to buy something. He goes to a shop. And he looks online. Oh, here online, $500 is cheaper to buy this item. But 1 week delivery. No, I want now. He goes to the shop, spends $500 extra, takes that item immediately. He has money, so he's throwing the money. This way he pacifies himself. But if there is no option for you to go to the shop and buy it, the only option is online, then what will he do? Will he be restless? Will he be throwing his money? No. He will sit patiently. 1 week, okay, after 1 week I am going to get my item. You're not going to become crazy and mad and restless and throw your money away. You're going to wait and they will deliver it to you. But if you know that Bombay is thousands of kilometers away and you're walking there, you're not going to become restless and hopeless. Oh, why am I not getting there? You know, I have to walk 1 week, 2 weeks, whatever the distance, and I'm going to get there. Slow and steady. So you know that Bhakti, Bhagavan, is not just something very cheap. It requires some sadhana, requires some time and patience. Then the sadhana should be patient always in his devotion. Gurudev says, you cannot see how much advancement you are making, but I can see. So the devotee sometimes thinks, oh, I am not making any advancement, I am not progressing. I feel like I am in the same place. I am not making any relation with the Vaishnavas, I am not progressing. No, it is not true. You are making so much progress. If you are sincere, if you always praying for this, develop relation with the Vaishnavas, Bhagavan, you are always praying for these things. And you always sincerely doing your bhakti, you always engaging yourself in devotional service. Whether it's full time or not, but whenever you do engage, you always praying for these things. That means you're making advancement. That means Bhagavan is accepting. You're hearing your prayer. Guru Vaishnava is hearing your prayer. And this relationship will be given to you, bestowed upon you. Today, tomorrow, or whatever, but it will definitely. It's only time is separating. So, one should not be restless thinking that why is not happening, why is not happening. You have some patience. This kata, there was sparrow laid her eggs on the bank of the ocean. The ocean waves took the eggs away. And the sparrow came looking for his eggs and questioned the ocean, did you take my eggs? The ocean said, yes, I took your eggs. You left it on the bank of the ocean, so I took them. He said, you returned them. And the ocean said, no. The eggs are mine now. So I will dry you up. I'll empty the waters and I'll take my eggs. And the ocean was laughing. This sparrow is going to dry me up. From the sparrow, we can diving into the water, fill up its beak with water, would fly to the land and throw the water on the land. It is doing this. The ocean is laughing. What is this Bhagavat going to do? How much? Even in a million lifetimes, this Bhagavat is not going to dry the ocean. When Garuda was flying by, the Garuda saw this Bhagavat doing this. And this Garuda asked, why are you doing this? The ocean has stolen my eggs and will not return my eggs, that's why I'm going to dry up. I'm going to dry the ocean up. Oh, he said he will not return the eggs? Okay, I will also help you. In Garuda, being a Parikala Bhagavan, his beak is how big? He can make his form also as big as his one. Garuda made his form very, very big. With one beak, he swallowed up like how much? Half the ocean. Then the ocean came and fallen and returned the eggs. Here, please take the egg back. I have made a mistake. So, the idea here is one, if you have this dharya, this patience, even though the goal may seem very far away, Guru Vaishnavas see that you have this patience, then they will come and give mercy, they'll send their parikar, their associate, they'll come and they'll assist you. Then that which seems very far away, very long away, that will become very, very near to you, very easily attainable, very close. That Mukunda Datta, that Mukunda, he is sometimes going to hear from him personally, sometimes he is associating with Karamis, with Gyanis. And Mahaprabhu, when he was in Navadip, he was giving his mercy to all his parikar. But he never called Mukunda. Then some of his associates asked, will you not give mercy to Mukunda? Why have you not called him? Mahaprabhu, I will give my mercy only after a million lifetimes to him. Why is such a nonsense? In front of us, he is chanting Hari Bol, and Amar Pichunere or rolling on the ground, and I am showing him the ocean. Then tomorrow he is going and hearing Yoga Vaishishya from Mayavadi. No. He can give my mercy after a million lifetimes. Mahaprabhu is very upset. He is not one point. He is here and there. Then they went to Mukunda and said, Mahaprabhu said, bad luck. Only after a million lifetimes he will give you his mercy. After a million lifetimes, Mahaprabhu gave me mercy. But he was dancing and he became all ecstatic, too much happy, dancing and chanting the name of Gauranga. I will give Mahaprabhu mercy after a million lifetimes. Jai, I'm so fortunate. If the Lord is ran back to Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu, oh my Lord, Mukunda is dancing in happiness and ecstasy, hearing that you give me mercy after a million lifetimes. And Mahaprabhu smiles and calling here. And they went to Mukunda and said, Mahaprabhu is calling you. And he came and Mahaprabhu placed his feet on, hand on his head. Said, Mukunda, don't be like this. Be one pointed to Radha Krishna. Be one pointed to the Lord. Don't go here and there, associate with all these different groups. Worship the Lord with one pointed attention. So, we can see how this the nature of this Bhakti, he has this patience, this fortitude. He never becomes hopeless in the face of obstacles, in the face of delays. He knows that this is only a temporary thing. For a million lifetimes the jiva has been wandering in this ocean of cycle of birth and death. Now a few more years, a few more lifetimes, what is that? You are so close now. Now is not the time to despair, to become hopeless. So, like that tapasvi, he is doing austerities under a tree. He is doing his bhajan there. Narad Rishi asked him, going by, he said, what are you doing here? He said, I am worshipping Lakshmi Narayan, I want to go to Vaikuntha. I am worshipping him. And then he said, then Narad Rishi said, really? I am going there to Vaikuntha, I am on my way there. If you have anything you want to ask Narayan, not Vishnu? Yes. You ask him how many births will take to Vaikuntha. And Narad went there and he went to Narayan. Narad went to Narayan and said, one of your Bhaktas is there. He's been sitting many years now under 1 verse. One question, how long will it take for him? Then Maharaj said, many leaves on that tree, then he can achieve it. Then Narad, then he thought, oh my God, bad mood. Many leaves on that tree. I'm going to how many thousands of births it's going to be. So Narada then he stopped going there. He ended up avoiding that area. He didn't want to tell him the bad news. And one day by accident he went there and the guy said, "Hey Narada, you promised me you said you would deliver my message to the Lord. What did the Lord say?" And he was like, "Actually the Lord said there's many leaves on this tree, then you will only achieve them." Oh, Narayana said that I will achieve him. It is possible that I will achieve him. He was very, very happy, very big, big smile on his face. So much bliss. Now my life is successful now. I'm going to achieve Vaikuntha. My entrance into Vaikuntha is guaranteed. The Lord himself has said. Then Narada saw his reaction and he went to the Lord. "No, the Bhakta is, even upon hearing this news, now he is experiencing so much bliss and happiness." And Lakshmi is like, "Really? I want to see this devotee. If I had heard such news, I would have myself become disturbed." Lakshmi was, "I'm going to go see him." Narayana said, "Okay, if you're going, then we go together." And Lakshmi and Narayana on Garuda, they came there and they gave darshan to the devotee and they brought him back. So this is the mercy of Kripa of Vaishnava, devotee of the Lord. That which is insurmountable, like the ocean. He said that he tried to cross over this ocean by different processes like karma, jnana, tapasya, yoga, hanging onto the tail of a dog. You ever seen a dog how it swims? Barely keeps its head above the water. Barely. You were to hang on the tail of a dog, then what will happen? It will sink. You will sink with it. So fire independence is like this. But if you take shelter of the Vaishnava, take shelter of the process of bhakti, then what happens? Bhakti Padam, what's that verse? It says Bhakta Padam. The ocean becomes like water in the footprint of a cat. Have you ever seen a footprint in the road and there's some water? You just step over it, you don't step in it. You don't want to make your feet wet. So you can cross over this material ocean just like that, stepping over the footprint of a water that's in the footprint of a cat. That's how insignificant it becomes. It is called the mercy of the Lord, the mercy of the Bhagavan. Therefore, one has to have the patience in this process, not become hopeless. And if one has remained fixed in this process, then gradually one will progress from the stage of Anishita Bhakti to Nishita Bhakti. One will become Nishta. Nishta Bhakti will become a reality. And then from Nishta to Ruchi, etc. So one of the symptoms of Anishta Bhakti is that one becomes hopeless in devotion. You become hopeless. Oh, I'm not making a match. It's not working. I'm depressed, hopeless. This is a sign that you have not achieved Nishta yet. Try to be always, like Gurudev said, try to develop your bhakti. There's so much to develop. Why do you hopeless? It's not that you have achieved your goal. We have been doing for some time. How many years? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years? How many years? Very insignificant time. But sometimes because the desired goal, we want to achieve the desired goal, and sometimes that time seems like a lifetime for us. It's a long time. I spent so much time now in India. Like the first 6 months you stay in India, I spent such a long time in India. 6 months. Like incredible. Then you go back to the West and it's like an achievement, you know. I've been 6 months in India. Amazing. Wow, 6 months. And if you stay 1 year, then it's like, wow, I've been a really long time now in India. 1 year, it's like, feels like perfect. And if you like 2-3 years, then it's like, wow, man, seems like forever you've been. But after you stay 10 years in India, or 20 years, then you look back, that 1 year, those 3 years, you begin to laugh. What was that 1 year? What was that 3 years? It was nothing. Now I've been 20 years in India, then you begin thinking. It just feels like nothing. Why I'm saying this, I speak for myself. I first stayed for 1 year, 1.5 years, and it's been a long time already. And I went to Giridhari. I said, I've been here a long time already. You want me to stay here or you want me to go preaching? Giridhari was like very tricky, very clever. Oh, you've been here such a long time. Yes. Why not going and preaching? Buddha's mood was he wanted to preach around the world. He was sending everyone preaching all the time. He never wanted. So then I went to Bangalore preaching. And then, it's like 5 years passed. Felt like, I don't know, 7, 8 years. Then I had to go with my passport. And I felt like I've been here forever. And now that I've been here more than 20 years, I look back, it feels like nothing. And even the 20 years I've been now to me it feels like nothing still. It feels like only a few days or a few years. It feels like really nothing. Our goal is actually to permanently be here in Maharaj. Permanent residence. When you think in that terms, I want to permanently be here, then what is 10 years, what is 50 years, what is 100 years, what is one lifetime, what is 10 lifetimes? It is nothing. If you think in that sense. So if your goal is to permanently be here, then you will not become, this kind of person will not become restless. You will not become restless. If you are always residing here, then you should be happy. You are actually living your goal, you are living your dream. You are in Sadhu Sangha, you are living the Vaisya, you are doing your Bhakti. And soon, pure devotion and transcendental relationship with Bhakti, Bhagavan, realization, all these things will come. Step by step. Today we also have a meeting at 3 o'clock. Prabhupada said, Prabhupada is coming. Prabhupada said we have to make one list. Make sure he wants everyone to go to Rath Yatra. So 3 o'clock we have a meeting. We want to make list who is going to go to Rath Yatra, who has some valid excuse, they can stay behind. Gaurvande Hari Hari Bo Jai Gurupad Padma Ki Jai Guru Parampara Ki Jai Sachinanda Gaur Hari Ki Jai Saparashada Gaur Hari Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Anandavati Vaishnavini Ki Jai Jai Gaurvande Hari Hari Bo.